friends, it's Rana, and today I'm finally here to tell you about the best books I read in 2024. I know it is the end of February of 2025 and I still haven't told you my favorite books of the last year, but here we are. I know I'm a bit late, but it is better late than never. I'm not gonna try to explain or give excuses why I have been disappearing weeks at a time. I already told enough in last video. So let's talk about the best books of 2024 and only give positive vibes. When I was making this list, I was looking at all the books I gave 5 stars in 2024, and I only managed to have 9 books to put for today's video. And I was thinking about picking a 4-star read and put it in the 10th place, but I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm only talking about the 5-star reads of 2025. But I have a couple of rereads that I consider to be 5 stars. You can place in the 10th place, like 1,000 Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini and The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse by Charlie McCasey. I love this book. Everybody knows I love this book and will always love it. I already have a review video for it and I talked about it multiple times on my channel, so no need to talk about it further. It is the same for The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse by Charlie McCasey. This is like a fixed reread for me. I reread it every year during October or November when I am having my seasonal depression, but I really love to reread it. It lifts me up and makes me feel good. So these I will put in the 10th place. Now for the 9th place, I'm talking about these books in order, like at this moment. I love all these books, but at this moment, this is my current order for them. In the 9th place, we have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. If you don't know, I love Alice Feeney. She is one of my favorite thriller mystery authors. She doesn't have the best mind-blowing thriller books, but they are always easy to read and very fun. I believe I never gave any of her books 5 stars, but this one I give it 5 out of 5 stars that it deserves. So basically this book is like Agatha Christie's book, and then There Were None, where a group of family members who haven't been in touch for many years get reunited on an island to celebrate their Nana's 80th birthday. And while they are there, Nana's suddenly is found dead. And after that, they start dying one after the other, dropping like flies here and there. And we are trying to solve the mystery of who is the killer. I honestly loved this book. It was so fun to read. And I found many mixed opinions about the ending. But for me, it was the best. It was absurd, yes, but I love some absurd endings. This book didn't take itself seriously sometimes, and especially towards the ending, but it was really, really good. I liked it. If you like something unexpected or with an absurd twist, you're gonna enjoy this book, hopefully. Now for the 8th place, we have The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. So, Tiffany D. Jackson is my girl. I love her books. All of her books I really enjoyed, except for one book, allegedly, but all the other books I read by her are amazing. The Weight of Blood is a retelling or reimagining of Carrie by Stephen King, but here in this book, Carrie is called Maddie, and she is a Black young girl bullied at school by other people. She also have the same thing as Carrie, telekinesis powers, and it follows a very similar path of events in Carrie, but made it, dare I say, better. Carrie is one of my least favorite books by Stephen King, but this retelling of it by Tiffany D. Jackson is my favorite by her. I know this might sound crazy to some of you, but I believe that she did far better job with the story than Stephen King. Tiffany D. Jackson always have some messages in her stories. They are always thought-provoking and at the same time very enjoyable to read. This one was anxiety-inducing because I was stressed the whole time. Something that Carrie failed to do. Everything was done far better. Even the blood prom scene, it was perfect in this book, and I recommend that you listen to it on audiobook because it gives you a whole different experience. Now, next for the 7th slot, we have Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. Oh, I'm gonna try to give you some ideas about each book and tell you my opinion about them. All of them I love, but this one I prefer not to say much about it because it's gonna spoil the fun of it. But basically it is the most fun book and the weirdest one I read in 2024, but it was very good. I'm gonna tell you small bits of the beginning of the story, hoping that it's gonna encourage you to pick it up and try to read it yourself. So Nothing to See Here, it starts with a main character, I forgot her name, where she is in a really bad financial situation, and she gets approached by one of her ex-friends from high school. They are now adults, and she asks her to babysit her twin children. And she accepts, even though she doesn't like her ex-friend anymore, but she needs the money because her ex-friend is now very rich. The thing is that these twin children are not normal kids. No. Shall I say it? They suddenly combust. Yes, you heard me right. They suddenly combust. And this book follows the relationship of this main character with these two twin children and how she deals with them. It's very weird book. It is very fun. It has funny moments and I really loved all the characters in here. Very ridiculous book, but I adore it. And I encourage you to try to read it, even if it's not your cup of tea, to read weird, funny, ridiculous books. I think you're gonna like it too. In the 6th place, we have Battle Royale by Kushun Takami. It feels like I read this book ages ago because I can't believe that I read it in 2024. Maybe because I read it early 2024, I feel like it's been a while since I did. I talked about it many times on my channel. I have a separate review video of it. But in short, it talks about a futuristic Japan where every year, by secret, the government kidnaps children from a high school and take them and put them in an isolated place. In this book, it is an island, and makes them go into like a Hunger Game-esque competition where they kill each other till we have only one last standing student, i.e. a reference to the title Battle Royale, because if you don't know, in boxing matches, there's this same theme of matches where it is called Battle Royale, where they have different fighters fighting each other until we have only one last fighter standing. So it is the same idea, but with school students. Yes, I know, very similar to Hunger Games. You can watch my video talking about both of these books, but I really enjoyed this one. It is very gory. There's a lot of violence in it, a lot of characters, but they didn't make me lose track of who is who, which is a very good sign because I don't like a big number of characters in one book. I don't recommend this book if you are sensitive to violence in books, to gore, to very descriptive situations that will make you uncomfortable. So if you don't feel like reading this type of book, I don't recommend this one because it is full of all of these things. It might look intimidating because of the size of it, but it goes very quickly when you read it, and the chapters are very short. It is really engaging. It keeps you reading even though it is a very long book, and it is very fun with a deep message in. Next, on the 5th place, we have The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa. So this book is a very cute, emotional little book that will make you very sad if you are a pet owner, especially if you are a cat owner. It basically talks about Satoru, who is a Japanese guy that adopted this stray cat called Nana from the street and started taking care of it for a few years. Then suddenly he packs his things and takes Nana with him on his van to visit 3 old friends for a reason that he won't say to Nana, but we get to know that he is trying to find a new place for Nana, a new owner for Nana to take care of. You basically don't know why, but you have this hunch why Satoru is trying to give away Nana to someone else. And throughout the book, we learn about how he found Nana and how their relationship started as a pet and its owner. And it talks also about Satoru's relationship with these three people from his past. Some are friends, some are family members. And it is very cute and heartwarming to read, but the ending is very sad and it will rip your heart apart. But it is expected, it is foreshadowed too, but it is a very amazing book nonetheless. If you are a book crier, prepare tissues when you read this book. I didn't cry, of course, as usual, but I got teary-eyed a little bit. It is a really, really good book, but the ending is very bittersweet, especially now that I've lost my Fluffy. Now, for the fourth place, we have Howl's Moving Castle by Deanna Wynne Jones. This is the first time I read this book, read this original source material of the Ghibli's movie Howl's Moving Castle, and it's quite different than the movie. But it didn't make me enjoy it less. I even can say that I prefer it a little bit more than the movie. Don't get me wrong, like I love the movie, and you can see that from my YouTube channel. I have this fan art as my, what we call it, background for my channel, because I really, really love Howl's Moving Castle, the movie. But when I read the book, I think I prefer the story in the book more. The characters are more fun. It has more fun tone to it, silly tone to it, more than the movie, which can be a little bit serious at times because of the war theme that it has. I always find it hard to explain to people the story of Howl's Moving Castle, the movie, now I can't explain the book, but everyone these days have a small idea about the story of Howl's Moving Castle. I just can't explain it to you. It is a very fun book. I listened to the audiobook and I'm planning to buy a physical copy of the book to reread it again, because that's how much I enjoyed it. I heard many people say before I started reading the book that the movie is better. Howl's in the book is very bully-like and whatever, but I enjoyed it. I even enjoyed Howl in the book. I found it to be charming. Yes, the movie Howl is a little bit more prince-like, but both have their charms. I even have this plastic puzzle of Howl's Moving Castle on my shelves. I still need to make what we call it, frame to it, but I couldn't find something in this size yet. Look at it, isn't it pretty? Now for the top 3 places. You can interchange these places any day and I love every single one of them equally. But today I feel like this is the correct order of the top 3 books. And on the 3rd place we have Almond by Won Pyung-sun. This is a translated Korean book. I love it. I love it so much. Before I even say anything about this book, I adore this book. I didn't know much about this book before I read it. I heard some people talking about it, but I didn't have a really good idea what is it about. Then one day I was in a bookstore and I opened it, read the first page, and I was like, yes, I need to read this book because I think I'm gonna love it. This is another book that I don't like to elaborate on what is it about because I don't like to spoil it. It is very short. Even the chapters are very short, like a page and a half each chapter. It's about Yeonjae, the main character. He has a brain condition called alexithymia, where he can't feel normal feelings like other people. For example, he can't feel anger, he can't feel happiness, fear, or love. And at the start of the book, we see his relationship with his mother, his grandmother, and how they love him and take care of him. And throughout the book, he meets another boy called Gun, I think. He isn't the best person in the world, but he changes Yeonjae's life forever. You know, when I love a book or hate a book, I always make a review video of it. If I feel about a book, I don't make a review video for it. But every single book I love and I want to talk about and express my feeling about, I make a video for it alone, talking about it. This one is no exception. I have a review video for it. I highly recommend that you watch it. It is very short because, as I said, I don't like to spoil it. But for now, it is my favorite Korean book at the moment. I don't think I'm gonna read something that will take this place. Now, for the second place, it is a graphic novel called Shbek Bake in English. I read it twice this year. The first time I read it as an ebook, a pirated ebook in English, and I loved it so much. I went out of my way during the Amman International Book Fair and I bought it in Arabic, the original copies that it was meant to be published in, or the original languages was that it was meant to be published in. Shbek Lebek, the first volume, second one, and the third one. I read them first in English, as I said, then I reread them in Arabic. I enjoyed it a lot in English, but it has a little bit of spice when you read it in Arabic. A little bit of magic. It is like an urban fantasy or magical realism book where it is our modern world, but with a little bit of magic, where we can buy wishes in bottles, like these ones. We can buy wishes in bottles. Some of them are first degree wishes and some of them are third degree wishes. The first degree wishes are the highest degree that they will make your wish come true, but they are very expensive. The third degree wishes are like a bad quality wishes. They don't turn your wish true. For example, if you wish to lose 20 kilos and you use a third degree wish, you might lose a leg or an arm to lose that 20 kilo. So there is some risks when using bad quality wishes. In the first book, we follow Aziza. Her story was sad, but I loved it. I really loved it. I hope she finds happiness. The second one wasn't my favorite. I forgot his name. I think Noor. I didn't really enjoy his books that much, his story that much, even though I relate to him in some aspects, but I wasn't a fan of reading his story. The third book, it focuses more on this Ammo, I forgot his name, and the story of a lady that he knows. All of these stories are connected, like the characters are connected in each other, but each one focuses on someone different. My favorite is the third one, then the first one, and lastly the second one. Like this one contains one of the best plot lines of story I read in 2024. It is so good. How to know if I loved a book so much is when I convinced my sister to read it. I convinced her to read this one and to read Almond too. And now, for my first place, my favorite read, the best read of 2024 is As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow by Zulfa Qatu. So this book, the author is Syrian, and she wrote this book inspired by the recent revolution in Syria that took place over the last 13 years, and I read it very shortly before the liberation of Al-Assad regime, and it was very heartbreaking read, and I loved it so much because it opened my eyes to some things that happened in Syria in the last 13 years that I didn't know about. Yes, I knew about some things, but others were mentioned here. The characters are not real, but the experience of these people, the events that happened in this book are all inspired by real life events. The main character, Salma, she is, I think, 19. She is 19 years old when the revolution started, and she was studying pharmacy, I believe, in university, but because of this situation and the things that were happening, she was like forced to start working like a nurse/doctor in the hospital to help people and to help the injured. The only remaining family member she has right now is her sister-in-law, and she is pregnant. In this story, they try to make it happen that they get out of Syria before her sister gave birth. Meanwhile, she meets this boy called Kinan, and things happen for them there. I'm not a big fan of romance in books, especially when it feels forced, but this one, I really liked it. I liked Salma with Kinan, and now I love the name Kinan because of him. It was very cute. The relationship was very cute. It pulled my heartstrings. I know some people didn't enjoy it, but for me, it is really, really heartwarming to read about these two people and heartbreaking at the same time. It is so, so, so good, this book. And I was very happy that shortly after I read it, the liberation happened and people were freed from the prisons in Syria. I was really happy to have read this book before that happened. And I started following the author on Instagram, and I love her stories. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on this book, again, I have another separate review video of it. I genuinely love this book, and that's why I put it in the first place. I can't wait to read more of Zulfa's writings. As I saw from her Instagram stories that she is working on a second book, because this one was her debut novel. I love this book so much. I'm trying to convince two of my friends in real life to read it, and I'm trying to convince them and encourage them to do that by reading the Arabic translation because it got translated to Arabic and they prefer reading in Arabic than in English. This book has a special place in my heart and I adore it. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me please in the comments what's your favorite book of 2024. I know I'm late, but I really want to know. Also, I'm trying to get back into the groove of things here on this channel. I know I said it before, but believe me, I'm trying my best. Hopefully I won't disappear for another 2 to 4 weeks. Yeah, so that's it. See you next time. Bye!